Chapter 31. Weight Gain and Sugar. The Insulin Link. When we eat carbohydrates, insulin is released. Insulin is a storage hormone that is there for survival. There are times of excess when fat is stored deep inside of our bellies as the dangerous visceral fat under the direction of insulin. Unfortunately, during these times of high stress, we have persistently elevated insulin levels. When this happens, our bodies preferentially burn glucose for energy. And if we never get rid of the insulin signal, we never reach into the fats to be used as a source of energy. Eating less doesn't work for the long term, maybe the short term, but reducing carbohydrates does. Also, exercise can help with metabolism, but not with the primary focus of fat burning. Look at the overweight people who run and train for marathons. How can you possibly say they need to exercise more? How does this happen? We are all wired to store fat. Fat is much like a tumor. It takes all the energy from the body mass and says, we need to store more fat. The philosophy is that our fat mass is growing, and it causes our body to create more fat and to consume our lean mass for energy. I believe that the critical part of being overweight is not because of a higher percentage of fat, but because of the continuous loss of muscle and the inability to uptake sugar in your muscle because of chemicals produced by your belly fat. So, to understand this, we have to go back to the basics. We have to go back to the fat cells. The only thing that will make a fat cell store fat is the enzyme called lipoprotein lipase. It directs our bodies to take a triglyceride and break it down and pull it into the fat cell. And there are only two signals that turn on this fat-forming enzyme. They are cortisol and insulin. Okay, so how many insulin-resistant, high sugar levels, high insulin levels, stressed patients are out there? I see these patients every day, all day long. The number is very high and growing at an increasing rate. More stressed people are becoming fatter and have elevated glucose levels leading towards diabetes. Patients with high sugar levels leading to diabetes, overweight, and stress are now increasing in epidemic proportions. Why? We now know that cortisol, from stress, and insulin, from sugar intake, are the two signals that truly cause fat formation. So you could block fat formation by reducing stress and sugar intake. Well, I don't know about you, but the stress doesn't seem to be reducing. It's only increasing daily. So why can't I at least reduce my sugar intake? And you can do that. The next plan would be how to release fat from my fat cells and then lose weight and belly fat. What allows us to unleash fat from the cell? There is an enzyme called hormone-sensitive lipase, which allows fat to be released from the fat cells. Almost everything directs this hormone-sensitive lipase to allow fat to be released, including your catecholamines, thyroid hormone, all your anabolic hormones, progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, and DHEA, and this will support our body's attempt at reducing the amount of fat stores. So why do we have so much problem with the weight gains and too much belly fat? Because there is only one hormone that keeps fat in the fat cell, actually blocking its release by everything else, and that is insulin. So, when insulin levels are high, they trump everything else. As long as we continue to eat excessive carbohydrates and the poorly contrived low-fat diets, we will have persistently elevated insulin levels. Not only will we store the fat, but we also won't burn it, and the epidemic of obesity and diabetes will continue to worsen at a staggering rate. If we know these things, the logical decision would be to remove excess and high glycemic index carbohydrates from our diet.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.